To some degree, I actually think that a year ago it was a bit more crazy in a way, because there were a lot of like every deal you looked at was bought by somebody you'd never heard of before, or not everyone, but there were a lot. I think there are a lot more actors. My sense, at least, is that at least for the things that we're looking at, there's less. There's less now, and maybe that's partly because we've shifted our focus a little bit. I think, as I mentioned before, I think the office sector in particular has become very. This is. I mean, it's not. We haven't actually spoken too much about the Sassimis. I mean, I think it's had a huge impact on the market. I think anything that basically the way I look at it is that I guess the core assets don't really trade very much, and so there are a lot of core investors desperate to buy assets. The sort of core plus assets, basically the entire office sector, in my opinion, including sort of value add type offices, and then shopping centers that are reasonably well located and cash flowing. All of that, I think, is being bought by Sassimis. I mean, I'm generalizing, but largely it's very difficult. I see for us to get involved in the residential sector. I think there's a lot of smaller. There's guys like Juan, and then there's also there's room for smaller developers. But I think we can't be quite as competitive. So it's sort of that kind of leaves with hotels and logistics where we haven't been as active, or just taking on effectively more risk. So developing offices, which I mentioned, buying shopping centers that need significant refurbishment and turnaround, which is an opportunity. Doing residential development in less core in vocational locations, for instance, in the islands or in the Costa del Sol. For the returns that we need, I think those are where you can do deals and find appropriate return levels, and then it's up to the investor to determine whether or not the risk is merited by the return. And I think in some cases it is, but it's becoming harder and harder to find those spots.